Dear students, we are just with a very interesting poem, Tyger, composed by William Blake. You know that this is a very revolutionary poem. Revolutionary in the sense that it has been written in the framework of philosophical vision of the poet William Blake, and at the same time it has been composed to discuss a philosophical subject into a poetic discussion. We find that this poem is just a kind of thoughtful revelation of the fact which holds the point that the God is the final creator of this universe. We simply come to the very conclusive remark of the poet that this is a very strange world which has been composed by a strange, powerful existence named God. Today, in this discussion, we are just going to talk about text and diction of the poem Tyger. You know that this is a kind of poem which compels us to think about the question which has been raised here. There is a way that the poet has discussed the very much contrasting things living side by side in this world. We are actually surprised to see several kinds of contrasting things, and they are living very much in cohesion with the system of rolling ahead. We simply find that this is the poem that compels us to think. This is the poem that makes us to assert. This is the poem where we are left with some questions. This is the poem wherefrom we may start our own philosophical thinking about the world and its creator. I am Dr. Naveen Kumar Jha, Associate Professor in English, REGS College Ahilyasthan, is going to make a very surface study of the text and diction of the poem. The poem is about the tiger. The poet writes, "Tiger, tiger, burning bright, in the forests of the night, what immortal hand or eye could frame thy fearful symmetry?" The poet actually is excited to see the tiger, that it is of burning bright. Now we find that it is so alluring a creature that when the poet sees in night, he can see it very clearly for its burning bright color. And we may be really surprised to think about the Creator. If the creation is so brilliant, how will be the Creator? How great will be the Creator? And we'll be bound to think what immortal hand or eye has been capable for framing the fearful symmetry of tiger. It is well designed, well shaped. It is symmetrically made. It is mathematically calculated. We can say that when you look at the posture of tiger, we find, oh, it is a geometrical symmetry or a geometrically symmetrical composition that is possible only by a great hand that is immortal. That great hand is simply not to last. The eye of the Creator has been immortal to see through the space and time that no creature of this burning bright has been so far made. In what distant deeps or skies burnt the fire of thine eyes? The eyes of tiger are burning just like fire. It is in distant deep forest. We can say that some glaring object is somewhere burning. That is nothing but the eyes of tigers. Or what wings dare he aspire? And the hand dare seize the fire. It is perhaps a challenging work. The poet is questioning whether it is possible by a simple-hearted people to create such a great creation, whose eye just like burning fire. We cannot say that it is possible for a common person and common powerful existence to make such a great thing. It is definitely by great hand. It is definitely a daring capacity of the Creator, capable for making this kind of immortal things. The Maker is immortal, and so is creation, in the sense that this creation is not found in the world. It is just tiger which has been made. It is single piece. We do not find any comparison whatsoever of this stature in this world. We can talk of different parts of body of tiger. We find that its eyes are brilliant, as if they are burning fire, and body is symmetrical. And we find that it is unparalleled simply. And do you think that this kind of creation is to be made by a common person, or it is made without a dare on the part of Creator? The poet doesn't think that it is less daring a work. It is certainly a daring work to compose such a great composition. And look at another part of the body of tiger, and what soldier, and what art. Yes, it is really the art. The creation of tiger is an art by an artist who is immortal, who is unsurmountable. That Creator's art is just one in this universe. We hardly find any comparison of the art by which this tiger soldier has been made. Or we can say that yes, it is only by the art of the Creator, that is God, that it has been made. And twist the sinews of thy heart, and sinews of tiger's heart cannot be twisted so easily. It is rather strong, rather so strong to be twisted by anybody else. So, all the beautiful things that we can imagine have been just endured upon Tyger. Either we can talk about snooze of Tiger's heart, we can talk about shoulder, we can talk about eyes, or any part of Tiger we find, oh, it is unique, it is exemplary. No, you do not find that this kind of creature is to be made or would be made again by any creator. So we simply cannot challenge the power of Creator. And when thy heart began to beat, what red hand and what red feet? Oh, we can see when we are listening the heartbeat of Tiger, it is dreadful. It makes someone fearful. Especially when you see hand and feet of Tiger, we are fearful. Especially when we hear the heartbeat of Tiger, we get fearful. So it is on the one hand so beautifully made, but it is made so that we can be fearful at looking at all those parts of body. Is it not contrasting? Is it not surprising that a beautiful thing which has been very beautifully composed is going to create fear in the mind of viewer, in the mind of observer? Generally, you find that beautiful thing pleases us. We admire beautiful things for its beauty, for its attraction and charm that it creates on the viewer. But what about the composition of Tiger? What about the parts of body of Tiger? The poet says that it is really a great art. It is a daring art which has been made by the God or Creator. But for what purpose God has made this? Has God made this to make us fearful? No, perhaps. It is not the very inner objective of the Creator. Rather, the Creator wants to exhibit His extent of art, His command over art, that He can make such a beautiful but terrifying object that nobody can dare to meet. Nobody can dare to compose another piece of the creature except God. God has only power to make a very stylistic composition. Stylistic in the sense that it has been of different contrasting traits that a common person cannot imagine even to make this kind of thing. When common person tries to imagine a thing to create, he imagines just on one point and he tries to make it finish. But here, what do you find? That his imagination is far and wide. It is so wide that no human imagination can match with it. It is why he writes that on the one hand, it is beautiful, it is very much attractive, it is symmetrical, it is pleasing to look. But on the other hand, he says that it is dreadful. What dreadful hand? Hand is to create fear. What dreadful feet? Feet is to create fear. And it is just in what we can call question mark that the poet is going to make this kind of a statement. Perhaps this is not the question that the poet is trying to ask to answer. The poet thinks that this question has been elocutionary developed, that it is to accept the reality. It is to assert the fact. It has been strongly asserted that, oh, it is just by God that it is possible. Then, do you think if the creature is so beautifully made, definitely the tools by which it has been made will be also surprising. So we are generally making things with hammer, with chain, with furnace, or we apply brain, we use anvil, but what the hammer? What the chain? In what furnace was thy brain? What the anvil? What red grass? Dare its deadly terrorous clasp. Can you think that it is an ordinary hammer that we people are using to cast something, to frame something? Or it is by the ordinary chain that we are able to make this kind of thing? Or it is by just a common furnace that we can create this kind of thing? Or it is by common human brain that we can make this? Or it is by common anvil? No, these instruments are not so common as we people are using to create or to make something. It is exceptionally unique. And we find that it has been the instruments or weapons and tools of God to make such a great creature. That to make some great creature, we need some great tools. So, what the hammer? What kind of hammer it was? It was really the hammer which has never been invented by human being. It was never been invented by any other person. Whether we can talk about hammer or chain or furnace or anvil, or we use all these things with some brain, idea. Hammer or just a furnace or anvil are not enough to make anything unless it is brainly utilized. Brain is behind using all these kind of things. But we can say, no, it is not common brain, which can use all these things, all these very special tools to make Tyger. So we can say that, yeah, it is really a very just great brain. It is the brain that is above the brain of common folk. It is the hammer which is more importantly made by the Creator, by the Almighty. And it is all once again a daring work. And so it is just to create terrors in the mind of the viewer. So the very purposefully God was making this brilliant creature beautifully, or it and at the same time it was made to create what he can call terror just in the mind of viewer. So poet is just leaving us with this kind of remarkable question to think. So think the just unlimited, unmeasurable, immeasurable power of God or Creator. We simply cannot measure the extent of the brain of the Creator. We find that it is just beyond measure. The brain is just really so sharp that we cannot have any measurement of all these kind of things. Okay, psychologically speaking, or in psychology, we have some measurement, IQ test to measure the level of brain. Even Einstein's brain IQ has been measured, and he has been rated to be the most brilliant person of this generation. But what can you talk about the brain of God? Maybe millions of items brain combined together cannot match with the brilliance of the brain of the Creator. And what the stars throw down their spears and water heaven with their tears. Or we can say that nature is just trying to just express itself. Now, heaven is just flowing tears to see the tiger. Did he smile his work to see? What should nature do? And what should a star do when stars are looking at all these kind of things? Whether they should smile. Or did he who made the lamb make thee? You find that it is the very much conclusive part of the poem. That on the one hand you find that it is a great and uncomparable creation of God, that is tiger. We have just discussed the very much beauty of tiger associated with the terror that God has just imposed on it. On the other end, we can see the very simple lamb, who is itself fearful. Tiger is creating fear, but lamb itself is fearful of tiger or anything else. It is so simple. On the one hand, we find that a creation which is enough to create terror in the mind of viewer. We do not have to have the image of tiger to be fearful. Even a war tiger itself is enough to create fear in our mind. But when you look at lamb, we find, oh, it is so gentle. Is it made by the same creator? Is it not surprising? We cannot just start thinking of the creator. We are keeping two images, one of tiger, another of lamb, which is two contradictory things composed by the same composer. Can a composer be so just what you can call imaginable that he is going to make tiger at the same time and lamb at the same time? We find it is what the mystic question is. And its answer is just very much in the line that yes, God can make, God can do everything. We simply find that his talent is really so great, so expanded, that the whole universe, which is full with so many contradictory things, is to be made by just Almighty, just God. It is just one pair of contrast that has been kept here for our discussion. But you find that pairs of contrast are here in this world. You may see that these contrasts have become the very much unique and essential characteristics of this universe. Or rather, we can say it is by the contrast that this world is known. And when just we admit the contrast, the mystic relation or question is gone. Now, answer of the just mysticism is to be found into the acceptance of the contrast, which is made by the powerful creator. So we are surprised because we do not believe that a person can do that kind of thing, that at the same time he is making tiger and at the same time he is making lamb. But when we admit, yes, it is possible by the Almighty that he can, then there is no question. We accept the very much power of the Almighty. We say, yes, by Almighty everything is possible. And this kind of Almighty is God. And so when we accept just what we can call His Majesty, then there remains no mystery. All mysteries are resolved. So by these two things, the poet William Blake has tried to resolve the question of mysticism, that we are surprised to find the answer to the question whether God exists. The poet says, yes, he exists, because look at these two contradictory things. Can you see that a person is able to make these contradictory things? We see no person is able to make these contradictory things. Then who? Then who? And answer is God. So God exists. And it is in this way we find that the poem is concluded, and we try to see everything about this poem. Thank you. Thank you very much.